Bienvenidos a Segundo Macabro Podcast. Yo soy Dean, and today we will cover a case that happened in Pueblo Nuevo, Colima, México.
Advertencia: la información de este caso puede ser desencadenante para algunos. Tenga en cuenta que algunos de estos casos pueden involucrar menores de edad, abuso, violación o violencia. Escuchen con precaución.
Warning: the information on this case can be triggering to some. Please be advised that some of these cases may involve children, abuse, rape, and violence. Listen with caution.
On February 9th, 2023, 63-year-old Maria del Carmen was taken from her home in Pueblo Nuevo, Colima, in broad daylight. What followed was a chilling silence, broken only by ransom calls and a family's unwavering determination to bring her home. Her disappearance sparked a cross-border search filled with questions, heartbreak, and uncertainty. What happened that day? Who took her? And why did they target her? This is the tragic disappearance of Maria del Carmen Lopez.
At this point, we need answers. We need to find my mother. We all started calling her to see if she would pick her phone or answer her messenger, and we have not heard from her.
Hubo una grabación donde ella pide por su vida. Nos pide que se hiciera lo que ellos piden lo más pronto posible, porque su vida dependía de eso. We miss her with a pain that defies words.
How I knew they had my mother for me was confirmation was that they called me by my name. That's the first thing they said was Tony. So I said yes, and to which they proceeded to say, tenemos a tu mamá, we have your mother. It was a ridiculous amount. We knew right away we were in trouble because we don't count with that type of money. Even if we begged for help, we were never going to attain that.
It put in perspective the disconnect of who they think they have. We're normal working people. We don't, it's a hopeless feeling actually, because I don't have that.
Maria del Carmen Lopez was a 63-year-old dual citizen from the U.S. and Mexico who dreamt of living the rest of her life and enjoying the rest of her retirement in Colima, Mexico. According to her daughter, Sonia Lopez, she lived in Colima for 10 years, and she would come back and forth from Colima to Southern California to visit her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, family members, and as well as friends that lived in Southern California. Sonia told KTLA News, quote, "In her we find strength, love, and boundless compassion. She possesses beauty that transcends the superficial, radiating from the depths of her soul and touching everyone who is fortunate enough to cross her path. Our world is falling apart without her light." On February 9th, 2023, it was just another normal, regular day for Maria del Carmen, and she decided to spend the afternoon visiting her sister at the shop that she'd owned down the street from where her house was. As the sun began to set, Maria realized that it was getting late and she had to say her goodbyes and headed home to water her plants before sundown. Her home was one of the few homes in Pueblo Nuevo who actually had Wi-Fi connection. So it wasn't unusual to see neighborhood kids hang around outside of her home in order to use the Wi-Fi. It was a familiar sight in a small, tight community like hers, where everyone knew everyone. Pueblo Nuevo was like a population of 200 to 300 people, and most of it consists with family members or people that they knew, or just a very small group of people that just knew each other and took care of each other. But something felt different that evening. A neighbor later told investigators that they had seen a van pulled up in front of Maria's home. Inside were about 4 men Two of them stepped out of the van and approached Maria as she tended to her plants. A few words were exchanged, and then a third man, described as a heavy-set, exited the vehicle and walked towards Maria as well. The neighbor recalls hearing that Maria said something along the lines of, "I'm not leaving with you." That's when the man covered her mouth, picked her up, and forced her into the van. It drove off out of the pueblo and into the silence. The neighbor immediately called the authorities and then reached out to Maria's family in Southern California to tell them what just happened to Maria del Carmen. When Maria's children got the news, panic set in. They began calling law enforcement in California, desperate to figure out what are the next steps to take in order to find their mother. Based on the fact that she had dual citizenship, they realized that they had to work with both authorities from the United States and with the ones in Mexico. And they reached out to police officers and just continued to ask questions on how to approach the situation. Within 24 hours, the FBI became involved and initiated an offer of $20,000 in reward for information leading to Maria del Carmen's safe return. Sonia told KCAL News, quote, "There were never any sort of threats. There were never any enemies. Anything that would indicate she was in any kind of trouble." Roughly 48 hours after the kidnapping, Maria's children received a call from the individuals who were responsible for the kidnapping, demanding for an obscene amount of money in exchange for her release. During the negotiation, the family asked for proof of life and received an audio recording that sounded like Maria del Carmen. In it, she pleaded with her children to give the kidnappers whatever they asked for, saying that her life depended on it. When they explained that they didn't have the 6-figure ransom that they are asking for Maria del Carmen, the calls automatically stopped. The kidnappers cut off all communication. Sonia later told KTLA News, quote, "It was shocking. It's like your body and your mind, everything goes into state of you've never been in. It's disbelief, but at the same time, as weird as it sounds, some kind of comfort because at least there was some kind of communication." Sonia told News Nation that she and her family believed that the motive behind the kidnapping was quick money. Pueblo Nuevo is such a small town on the outskirts of Colima that it's quite remote and very tight-knit. And just to target her mother was out of the blue. To target a town like Pueblo Nuevo and choose Maria del Carmen specifically made it clear to them that the family wasn't at random, that it was a deliberate, targeted attack. Shortly after the ransom call, the FBI increased the reward to $25,000 in hopes that the incentive would encourage people to come forward and give any sort of clues or details when it comes to this case. The FBI told News Nation that they had obtained surveillance footage from the area where they were able to identify a few of the individuals that were part of Maria del Carmen's kidnapping. These individuals were recognized by the specific weapons that they used at the time of the kidnapping, not just in Maria's case, but in other kidnappings that had occurred in Colima. Eventually, the arrests were made. However, no further details were released to the public. At the time of the crime, the FBI struggled to coordinate with the Mexican authorities, who were unwilling to share leads or cooperate fully with the stage of investigation. But nearly 2 years after Maria del Carmen's abduction, a breakthrough came. In early April of 2025, Mexican authorities released key information that could be vital to identify Maria's kidnappers and hopefully to locate Maria herself. On April 13th, 2025, the FBI confirmed that the DNA evidence that linked the two suspects to her case. The men were identified as Juan Antonio Gaitán Diaz and Antonico Cortés Valencia. But even with name and faces confirmed, one question remained. Where is Maria del Carmen? Sonia told News Nation that she hopes that the public release of the suspects' names and photos will encourage anyone with information to come forward. She and her siblings continue to push the message that the FBI is offering $25,000 in rewards for information leading to Maria del Carmen's recovery. Maria's son, Tony Lopez, told Fox 11 News, quote, She's just a great person to be around. Makes the whole family laugh, brings everyone together. That's the missing piece to our family right now. He continues with, quote, We're doing everything we can still. We're not going to give up on my mom. We're going to find her one way or another. Sonia echoed that sentiment in an emotional statement to News Nation by saying, quote, You guys took her. You took her from us. Where is she? Why not tell us what they did to her? Is she still alive? And if she's gone, where? We deserve her back. Maria Carmen Lopez has now been missing for over 2 years. Her family continues to search for answers, clinging on to hope that someone, somewhere, knows something. With suspects named, DNA evidence confirmed, and a $25,000 reward still in place, they refuse to give up. They are not just seeking justice. They're seeking closure and the return of a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, a sister, a friend. If you have any information, no matter how small, please come forward. Her story deserves an ending. Her family deserves peace. This is the disappearance of Maria del Carmen Lopez. Maria del Carmen Lopez went missing on February 9th, 2023, from her home in Pueblo Nuevo, Colima, Mexico. She was 63 years old at the time of her disappearance and is a dual citizen. Maria at the time had blonde hair and has green or hazel eyes and weighs approximately 160 pounds. She is 5 feet, 2 inches tall and has a permanent makeup tattooed of her eyebrows and her eyeliner. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading up to her whereabouts. If you have any information, please contact your local FBI office, their nearest American embassy or consulate, or submit tips on their website at tips.fbi.gov.
Es una angustia nosotros no saber de ella. Como familia estamos todos sufriendo y pidiéndolos que nos ayuden, por favor. Sus nietos, todos la extrañamos, la queremos mucho. Necesitamos su ayuda, por favor.
I don't know. We don't know what they did to her, but these two men that I'm looking at right now are possibly the last two men who've seen her. I want my mom, and you too. You guys took her. You took her from us. Where is she? Is she still, why not tell us what they did with her? Is she still alive? And if she's gone, where? We deserve to have her back.
Que si nos pueden aportar esa ayuda, podemos tener a nuestra madre con nosotros.
Y este fue el caso de esta semana. Again, if you have any information, the links to Maria del Carmen's website is going to be in our description, as well as the description of Maria del Carmen's facial features, where to contact for, to send in tips or anything. It's going to be in the description of this episode, as well as in the description of our post. But yeah, if you have any information, please help this family out. I actually, while doing research for this case, I realized that I grew up in the same city that Maria del Carmen's children and great grandchildren currently live in. I live in South LA, and they live in Norwalk, or in Downey, or in Maywood. So basically wherever they were located, I actually grew up in. So it's one of those cases that really hits close to home. Even though I didn't hear much about her case in the last couple of years, I still feel like I have this close connection to these cases, especially when they're so close to where I grew up. So if anything, if you have any information, any details on the whereabouts of Maria del Carmen, or somebody somewhere has to know something. These people lived in Colima, so their faces are out there, their names are out there, and these people must have said something. So again, if you have any information, or if you want to share any information that we've shared within this episode, it's going to be in the description of this episode, as well as in our Instagram. And we're going to link Maria del Carmen's website on our link tree. So if you click the link in our bio, their website's going to be featured on our link tree, where you can, keep constant updates on this case through their website. And if there's any updates, we will, make a post, make a video to update you guys on Maria del Carmen's case. But I'm glad that the names were finally released, and their faces are out there, and their names are out there, because hopefully this brings, a little bit of momentum back into the case, because I know that this family truly, truly deserves that. But yeah, if you want to comment on this case or talk further into detail about this case, our comment sections are open. You can find us on our social media platforms at Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Blue Sky. Forgot to do something. Is that Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X as it's now Blue Sky? I feel like I'm forgetting another platform. I'm probably forgetting a platform, but you can find us at @SVSM_podcast, or you can go on our Facebook, just type in So Macabro Podcast, and our podcast page should pop up. Give us a like, follow us, leave us a comment, and we would reply to you. We also have a YouTube page where we upload the video portion of these episodes. Just type in So Macabro Podcast or @SVSM _ on the search bar, and our YouTube channel should pop up. We would really appreciate it if you subscribe to their channel, because it helps us a lot, and it makes our channel grow and give a platform to these cases, as well as the friends, the family, and anybody who feels connected to these cases, a place to share the information, share any news when it comes to these victims, as well as any updates in regards to their cases. But if you want to listen to the rest of the 141 episodes, you can listen to them on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you stream podcasts. Just type in So Macabro Podcast on the search bar, and we should pop up, and you can listen to the rest of our 141 episodes there. And yeah, if you can, subscribe to or follow us, or subscribe or I don't really can keep up on what you need to do in order to keep our podcast in your constant downloads. You can do that. Just follow us on those platforms, and you'll get constant episodes on of our podcast. Let's see. As you can tell, it's just me recording this time. We couldn't really align recording scheduled days, mostly because I pretty much worked this whole week and didn't really have time to concrete and and finish this episode, and Ali just had like a busy work week, so we just couldn't find the proper timing for us to record. So it's just me today, but we're gonna record next week, especially Ali's episode, so you'll see us again together next week. But yeah, I think that's about it. But we're closing April already, and we're going on to May, so we're really excited about that. But we hope you enjoyed your Easter weekend last week, and yeah, if you have any more suggestions and if any more cases you think that we should cover, let us know. We are really opening up our platform for you guys to connect with us and make this podcast your own as well. But yeah, until next week, have a great weekend, and we apologize for it being uploaded late. But yeah, have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Stay spooky.